Everybody, welcome back to AFTV. I've got Christian with me, and Christian, wow. That was too much of that is not good for the heart. Arsenal won, Crystal Palace won. Arsenal win 8-7 on penalties, and in doing so, go through to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, and that was too much for me to handle at times.
Yeah, look, I thought it was going to be a nice, calm game. I thought it was going to be a comfortable win. You know, Palace played Thursday, Saturday, then tonight. We had a week off until Everton. I thought it was going to be calm. I thought, yeah. And looking at that first half, it should have been. You know, we should have taken our chances. Should have put the game to bed in that first half. Should have scored at least 2 or 3 goals. But you don't. And then, you know, against a team like Palace that have quality, you leave yourself vulnerable and you can concede a goal at any time. We go 1-0 up, they get the goal back, and then it goes to pens and we're all stressing out. So, like I said, it should never have got to that. But I think it highlighted that our problem is still putting the ball in the back of the net. You know, for a couple of years now, we've been able to get into positions, play some nice football, create chances. But when it comes to crunch time, when it comes to players that actually have that killer instinct, we still lack that. You know, and people said in the summer, oh, if you sign a striker, that's it. You know, you're guaranteed the league. I think we've seen this season, Gyökeres has come in, and don't get me wrong, he's done all right. But it wasn't just the striker that we were missing. You know, it's clinical players that are built for big moments and big games that can put the ball in the back of the net, that don't crumble under pressure. I'm not saying they crumbled under pressure tonight, but you see players like Noni Madueke. And I like Madueke. I think he's been a good signing since he's come in. And if I could go back, I would still sign him. I don't regret signing him. But crucial moments like that, you're through one-on-one in the first 5-10 minutes, straight at the keeper. You know, chance for Gabriel Jesus with the header. Good header, but not good enough to put it in the back of the net. Martinelli, we've seen chances throughout the season that he hasn't buried. Trossard, we saw against Everton, doesn't bury his chance. You need clinical players in these games if you want to get over lines. So, yeah, I'm glad we got the win. Like I said, it was way more stressful than it should have been. But my concern right now is putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, you make some excellent points there, because in that first half, some of the approach play was really, really good. We looked sharp, the passing was sharp, just needed to apply that finishing touch. And I think I said to you at half-time, I goes, you can see what's coming now, can't you? Because you're so on top. I think at one point we were registering about 80% possession in the first half. We had shots on goal, we had chances, we didn't take them. And you're thinking to yourself, this could get a little bit, you know, if you don't take the chances. In the second half, to be fair to Palace, I thought they were a better team in the second half.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say better team. I thought they came out with more intent. They made a couple of changes. Eddie came off and the right back came off. I can't remember his name. French guy, 19-year-old. What was it? No, Klein came on. Cavo, something like that. Because he was getting ripped apart by Martinelli in the first half. And I think, you know, Klein made a difference. The striker they brought on made a difference because Eddie wasn't really doing anything in that first half. And that's why Glasner's a top coach. That's why they won the FA Cup last season. You know, they beat Man City in the final because he's a smart manager. He can see in game it's not working. You know, we're getting battered. We're lucky it's 0-0. I make a couple of changes tactically, tweak a few things, and you saw straight away in the second half they were back in the game. They started creating. We weren't creating as much. Players started to fade. Madueke faded in that second half. Martinelli got injured just before half-time. You can see he wasn't quite on it in the second half. I'm surprised Jesus stayed on so long.
I was a bit perplexed at that because you got Victor Gyökeres on the bench. I mean, he was our big money signing, the striker that, you know, we all thought was going to come in and be the finisher. He didn't get a look in, which was a bit weird for me. Yeah,
I think he's just played a lot of football. He has actually only just come back from injury. I think he's only played 2 or 3 games since he's come back from the injury.
But even if he doesn't start, I'm expecting him to play some part in the game.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what Mikel's doing there. I've got no idea. Even coming on at the end of extra time, or at the end of the added time
for the penalties,
to take a pen. So, look, it worked out in the end.
It did.
But when you come down to penalties, it becomes luck of the draw. So we're on the right side of it today. Big up every single one of those players that stepped up as well. Yeah. You know, to win penalties 8-7 and score 8 out of 8, it takes nerve. You know, the last
and they were all good penalties as well.
All very good penalties. The last penalty shootout here was against United. Havertz missed, and we obviously ended up going out. So big up to them. And someone I want to single out today and give credit to is Christian Norgard. Yeah. You know, a guy that hasn't had enough minutes in this team when arguably there's games where he could have played. And I thought he came in today and was arguably our best player. So yeah, big up to him. Deserves a chance. And I think he's shown he has more than enough quality to come in if we need him and when we need him. If Zubimendi needs a rest, if Rice is tiring towards the end of the game, you can bring this guy on. You know, experienced player, captained Brentford in the last season. So, yeah, big up to him. I thought he was our best player.
I wouldn't argue with that. I mean, I've been calling for Norgard, as you know. We've been speaking off camera for a few weeks about this now, and I've been asking for Norgard to play because I thought that Zubimendi in recent weeks has not looked at his sharpest. That being said, though, and I said this to you before the start of the game, I was surprised at the amount of changes. Wasn't it 8 or 9? Do you not think that was a bit too much?
No, I think it's...
Personally, I thought that was too many changes. I was expecting to see changes, 3, 4, 5 max, but 9, I was like, wow.
There isn't really a change that I don't understand. You know, Kepa coming in for Raya, I understand. The back four was pretty much the same, although Calafioret's coming to centre-back because Hincapié was injured. Miles Lewis-Skelly starts in the Champions League, so I understood that. Norgard, I understood him coming in. He played well. Marino, I understand going back into midfield. Although I don't love it, he deserves to start.
I don't think it's the players individually. I think it's when you make that many changes all at once, I think it can disrupt the flow of the team. That being said, though, I've just said that the start was really good. So, you know, it swings around a bit. I just thought that it kind of sends out a bit of a wrong signal. It's almost like you're being a bit complacent. You think you can make 9 changes all at once and expect to beat a team like Palace. You know what I mean? I just thought maybe it's a little bit too much.
I think you can see it two ways. You can say complacent, or you can say I have belief and trust in my squad.
Yeah.
You know, we all talk about our squad and the depth and all these players. Trust them. You know, and he did tonight. And I don't want to go too far. We've won the game. And I don't want to say that Madueke didn't repay the trust and Martinet, but you have to finish your chances. It's all good playing well. You know, Madueke beating a man, looking nice, shimmies, this. You got to put the ball in the back of the net. You know, that chance in the first 10. Gabriel Jesus, again, he's just come back from injury, so I'm not going to get on his back. Chances you should take. You know, other players, there are chances in that game you should take. You should kill this game off. Even Jurian Timber, he's a right back, so what? But there's a big chance where he's, Gay, I think it was Gay, he's made the mistake. And he's so complacent, and he's just looked like, I'm just going to tap this in, keeper makes a good save. Header in the first half, it's over the bar. You know, you got to take these chances if you want to win trophies. Luckily tonight, it came down to penalties, luck of the draw, and we're on the right side of it. But on another night, we go out tonight, and that could have a big knock-on effect on our season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I want to big up our best striker of the evening, own goal.
Yeah, big up own goal, man. Yeah, 3 own goals in the last 3 games. Actually scored no open play goals in the last 3 games, which, again, there's 2 ways to look at it. You know, I think Kenya was saying before, December's always a tough month for us. You know, we always drop points. The last 3 games, we've won all 3. You know, we haven't scored from open play, but we still managed to get over the line. So we'll only know whether this is important or means a lot in May. You know, if we're lifting a Premier League trophy, people will look back and say, well, that's a sign of champions because they still got over the line. If we lift the Carabao Cup at the end of March, you know, that's what champions do. If we don't, you can see the signs were there.
Yeah, well said. Just in closing, got through tonight. Chelsea up next. How do you feel about that game?
Yeah, bring it on, man. 100%. You know, I know they beat us in the last game we played. You know, a big 1-1 win for them, but yeah, we can go there and win. You know, I don't think they've won a game actually since they beat us at Stamford Bridge. So, can I say
no, it was a draw.
That's what I know.
Oh, sorry. I see where you're going.
But the way their fans went on about it is like you would think that we lost. They actually haven't won a game since. So, yeah, Caicedo was also suspended for that first leg because he got booked against Cardiff. But yeah, Chelsea in cup competitions, we usually do a job. So over 2 legs, playing away and then at home in the second leg, I back us to beat them.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, mate. Thanks. Cheers.
Listen, following football costs enough money already, so don't let your mobile bill mug you off. Rocket Mobile gives you unlimited everything for £16 a month. No nonsense. Powered by Vodafone and Free, plus exclusive content and prizes when you switch on over. Scan the QR code or click the link and put that cash back into football.